Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into this, shall we? If you're a parent or guardian looking at the educational landscape right now, you already know things have changed dramatically over the last few years. Today, I'm basically going to serve as your personal shopper's guide to totally demystify Iowa's 2026 online public education landscape for your family. We're going to look way past the jargon and figure out exactly what online public school looks like in Iowa today, how the whole thing works, and most importantly, how to find the absolute perfect fit for your student.
To help alleviate any of that bureaucratic anxiety you might be feeling, we're just going to follow a really simple roadmap today. First, we're defining online school in Iowa. Then, looking at who actually benefits from virtual learning. Next, we'll navigate the enrollment process. And finally, the essential questions you need to ask.
All right, let's start with Section 1, Defining Online School in Iowa.
So before we can really start shopping around for options, we have to define exactly what the product is that we're looking at. Now, what's really interesting here is that virtual learning, it's not just a temporary emergency measure anymore. It's an entirely formalized, structured part of Iowa state law. When we talk about online public school, we mean district-operated academies, state-approved schools, and specific district online courses. Basically, options that keep your student fully connected to the public framework while they get to learn from the comfort of home.
But hey, we need to bust a pretty major myth right out of the gate. There is no giant, sci-fi-style, single statewide virtual school that every kid in Iowa just logs into. The reality is actually much more localized. These programs are tied directly to local public school districts and specific state-approved providers. There's no one-size-fits-all model here. Everything operates on a local or district-approved level.
To put that into perspective, Iowa has a massive array of approved online schools. We're talking district-based options like DMPS Virtual Campus, Dubuque Online, and Marshalltown Virtual Academy, all the way to long-standing state-approved programs like Iowa Connections Academy. And because this list of full-time, part-time, and blended options is so vast and literally constantly updating, you really can't assume what's available based on word of mouth. You must verify current availability directly with your local district or the Iowa Department of Education. You really have to go straight to the source.
Moving right along to Section 2, Who benefits from virtual learning?
Online learning really unlocks a ton of potential for very specific types of learners. If your student needs a more flexible schedule, this is a massive perk. It perfectly suits rural families who might want access to different coursework, or, student athletes whose training just demands a completely different pace than a traditional Monday through Friday classroom can offer. It's also incredibly beneficial for learners with health concerns, or honestly just those students who find they focus better and really thrive in a quieter, much more controlled home environment.
Okay, but let's pause for a serious reality check here. Just because the student is learning from the living room couch does not mean the work is automatically easier. Despite having access to certified teachers and structured assessments, virtual school demands intense discipline. It requires serious self-management, strict regular attendance, and, perhaps most importantly, significant daily adult involvement and support at home. This isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. It is a true daily partnership between the school and the family.
Which brings us to Section 3, Navigating the Enrollment Process.
So if you've decided this is for sure the right path for your student, how do you actually navigate the enrollment maze? How do you buy into the system? Well, I want to walk you through this step by step. Step 1. Always start by checking your resident district. See exactly what online programs they operate locally. Step 2. If your local district doesn't have what you need, that's when you explore Iowa's open enrollment pathways to access programs in other districts. And Step 3. Confirm the specific rules. Choosing between your resident district and an open enrollment option dictates exactly who pays for the instruction and how your student is officially counted for attendance. Trust me, understanding these rules upfront prevents huge headaches down the road.
And definitely keep this in mind as you navigate those steps. Availability highly varies by age. You cannot just assume blanket K-12 coverage everywhere. Districts highly specialize their offerings by grade level. So a family looking for a full-time online public school for a kindergartner is going to face a very different set of choices and honestly likely fewer options than a family seeking a virtual high school diploma track for a teenager.
Finally, Section 4, Questions you need to ask before enrolling.
Think of this as your rapid-fire toolkit. I really want to empower you to look past the slick marketing language on these school websites and get to the absolute core of what they're offering your child. The first question you must ask, are the classes live, self-paced, or a mix of both? You need to find out exactly how much synchronous, live teacher interaction is actually built into your child's daily schedule. Are they on video calls all day, or is it mostly asynchronous, independent work that they tackle on their own time? One program might sound wonderfully flexible, but actually require a rigid daily video schedule, while another offers total independence but almost zero live teacher contact. You just need to know exactly what you're signing up for.
Question number 2. What technology is provided and what internet access is required? Get incredibly specific here. Does the district provide a laptop? A specialized tablet? You really don't want to start the school year only to find out your home Wi-Fi just totally crumbles under the heavy bandwidth required for their specific portal. Question number 3 is absolutely vital. What support is available for special education, English learners, or struggling students? Demand clear answers on how academic progress is measured day to day. Like, what safety nets exist if your child starts falling behind? And importantly, if this whole online experiment just isn't working for your student, ask right away, can my child smoothly return to a traditional classroom later if needed? So, let's see how all this builds together. When we zoom out, the 2026 landscape in Iowa is incredibly clear. Virtual learning is not an emergency-only solution anymore. It's an established, permanent fixture in the regular public education conversation. And it's giving families unprecedented ways to match schooling directly with their students' unique, individual needs. Every single learner is different, and hopefully you now have the roadmap to find that perfect balance of academic quality, structural support, and your students' day-to-day needs. But, it does leave us with a much larger, frankly fascinating question. As these virtual classrooms become permanent fixtures in our states, is the traditional brick-and-mortar school eventually destined to become the exception rather than the rule? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy navigating!